Hello again. Welcome to another Fresh from the Theater review. It's been a while since I did one of these. Had a lot of stuff going on, but I managed to get to the cinema for the first time in about 2 months, and I just got back from seeing Ryan Coogler's Sintros. I know I'm a little late in getting to this. This has been out for a few weeks now, but finally got to see it, and I've heard a lot of good reviews for it. People thought it was very well made, thought it had a good horror, and one person described it as kind of being on par with From Dusk Till Dawn, in the sense that it starts out as one type of movie and then shifts into a vampire story later on. And yeah, there are some parallels, but it definitely becomes its own thing, and this was a honestly really fun, well-made movie, and I enjoyed a lot of it. It had good build-up and suspense, a lot of great characters and relationships to where you did give a shit about what happened, and the vampire stuff is honestly some of the best vampire shit I've seen in a while. Like the effects, the design, it's pretty good. There is definitely a little bit of CG going on, but they can tell they mix things up, they use what they could when necessary. I had a blast. This was a good movie to see on the big screen. I'd heard it hyped up for a while, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get to see it, especially because it already came out a few weeks ago, but eventually I decided, you know what, I just got to get to the cinema, and this felt like a good one to start, and it was miles better than The Monkey, which I know a lot of people liked, but I just could not get into that fucking movie. And before I forget to describe the plot, here's what it is. Michael B. Jordan plays two roles in this film, twin brothers Dak and Smoke, and takes place in Mississippi in 1932. They're brothers who, it's implied, have been working with gangsters in Chicago, and they come back to Mississippi to start a juke joint for all the people in the black community to come to after they're done picking cotton in the fields. They hype it up, they get a lot of people to come in, and everybody's having a good time. They're playing some kick-ass music, and then round later in the night, some vampires start to show up, and it's not as jump into the genres as From Dusk Till Dawn was. There's definitely some build-up to it, but it does come pretty abruptly, and the transition is done reasonably well, and there's a lot of build-up, again, to the night. We see the characters meeting with their family and friends, and there's a whole amazing cast here, not just Michael B. Jordan. The main people that stand out are newcomer Miles Caine, who plays their cousin, a kid named Sammy, aka Preacher Boy, son of a local preacher, who's got a passion for the guitar and wants to play the blues. And they also bring in a young married girl named Pearline, played by Jamie Lawson, and I had to look this up just after seeing it, just to make sure. Smoke's wife, Annie, played by Wunmi Mosaku, and the Annie character might be next. Sammy and Annie are probably my favorite characters in the film. The Sammy character, he's young, he has a dream, and he's inexperienced to this whole world, the goings-on as Dak and Smoke are, but he learns. And Annie, she's a fun character. She's a believer and practicer of hoodoo, as they say, and she kind of becomes the vampire expert as the film goes on, and she's a cool character. I really dug her. And the surprise old-time cast member, we have this much older player of the blues named Delta Sim, played by the great Delroy Lindo. I just love seeing him. He was a great old face to see once again, and the vampires, there are many, but their leader is a Irish vampire named Remick, played by Jack O'Connell, and well, he's not like in my top 10 like favorite vampire villains. He plays a pretty good vampire, very threatening, very savage, but there's a weird little bit of humanity to him. You get the feeling he wants to build a vampire community, and with this being said in the early 1930s in Mississippi, yes, there is a lot of themes of racism, and Remick says he wants to build a true community where everybody loves each other, being the vampires, they'll bring them all together. And they say very early on that the playing of the blues and other music summons spirits of old and the evil sort, and Sammy's playing of the blues is what draws Remick to their little joint. He's the one who he is particularly interested in pulling in. The things that really make this film work are the atmosphere. There's great cinematography with the old 1930s setting. They really went all out as far as with production and costume design, and the cinematography at times almost feels on par with, say, something like Days of Heaven. And with the old themes of the occult and the blues, even though it's not set in the 30s, it reminds me a little bit of Angel Heart. And the characters, like I said, there's a lot of great characters, but their relationships, the camaraderie, the romantic relationships, everything is very well built. It just makes it all the more tragic, and also really puts you on the edge when things go to hell later on. As for Michael B. Jordan, he does do a good job playing two different characters, and the way they put them in the same scene together is very well done. But I will say, the Sammy character, this is one of those things where you have the much bigger star being the top billed actor, and the Sammy character, well, he's not given enough to, say, be the main lead. This is one of those cases where you're not, Michael B. Jordan plays two characters, but neither one exactly feels like the lead. And Sammy, while he is kind of the narrator character of the story, I can't really say any of the three of them have enough screen time or focus to be the true lead. And it's a little hard to know exactly who is the lead at times. And while Michael B. Jordan gives the twin brother characters their own personalities, I wouldn't really say either brother is that particularly interesting, at least in the first half. They are given some entertaining moments, particularly when they're interacting with other characters, but as their own, I wouldn't say they were that engrossing of characters. But in the second half, when the vampire crap takes over, they really come alive. Michael B. Jordan really brings these characters to a whole new level, and I really got into it, and I really cared where it went, and it was uncertain who would live. Well, there is one. The opening scene kind of gives away. It's a scene that happens later on, so you know at least one character is going to make it, but you're not exactly sure how he's going to make it. But it was gripping to the end, and there was this very awesome, it's predominantly a black cast, but there are two Asian characters. They mentioned, there's the yellow part of town where they have their shops and shit, and these two characters are close friends, old buddies of Stack and Smoke. These two characters, particularly the wife, Grace I believe, they really were nice additions to the film. And going off of my pre-seeing the movie notes, the big questions are, does it flow? And yes, I'd say it flows pretty well. There's one or two bumpy moments, but for the most part, it flows extremely well. The editing by Michael P. Crawford, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's very well done. He makes the film go at a nice pace. And is it scary? And I'd say It's got good atmosphere. Like, it's not like on the same level as something like The Exorcist or, again, Angel Heart, but it is very creepy. Like, it's on, again, there's parallels with From Dusk Till Dawn, which itself is not the most terrifying movie, but it's gripping, it's suspenseful. The suspense is definitely there, and the building of dread to many moments is very well done. There is one jump scare that works pretty well where a snake appears, and well, it's kind of obviously CGI in one shot. It was a well done jump scare, like shit. The music, scoring by Ludwig Göransson, a longtime collaborator of Ryan Coogler, is woven in very well. It's a very good horror score. I could definitely see myself listening to this on its own, and the cinematography, handling of the Mississippi setting by Autumn Durald Akpa is just splendid. Like, I read that this was shot in film, and it is beautiful. I loved watching it, and apparently it was like 65, 70 millimeter film, same as The Hateful Eight. So yeah, as a horror fan, I really got into this. This was a very pleasant surprise after a couple of months of figuring some stuff out, and especially after the fucking monkey. As I always do after seeing it, I write down what I consider my pros and cons, and I just do that to be fair. I mean, I do like the film overall, but there's a few small things that kind of stand out, and I'll start with the cons just to get that out of the way. While there are a lot of great characters and there's a lot of great relationship building, there is one character who I had a hard time getting behind. Stack's ex-girlfriend, Mary, played by Haley Steinfeld. This character, of everybody, feels the most out of place with her personality, the way she talks. It just doesn't feel like it fits the 1930s setting, and she was a little too intense at times. Kind of reminded me a little of Trixie, the character Trixie from Deadwood. And I don't want to say she did a terrible job, because she does give a good performance in certain parts, but like Ryan Coogler, this is a very well written, connected story, but this one character and her dialogue, it just doesn't feel like it matches the rest of the film. And as I said with Michael B. Jordan, while I was a little iffy on his performance in the first half, in the second half, he really came to life. However, there is one criticism with his performance that may just have been intentional. Maybe it was just him trying to give them each their different traits, but a lot of his dialogue in the first half and a little bit in the second half was a bit too mumbled and low. I had a hard time understanding what he was saying, and while a few other characters have these moments, he really mumbles a lot in the first half, and it's I had to really listen to understand, and there were some lines that I missed completely because I'm like, speak up. But it didn't ruin the film as a whole. It just maybe takes it down a little notch on the rating scale. And the ending. This is not a bad ending, but there is one thing about the ending that I'm not going to spoil it. I don't think this will be a spoiler review, but something about the ending that kind of brought the film down a little is it just keeps going. Like, you think it's over, and then it keeps going about, you think the movie's over, but then it goes on about another 15 minutes, and just when you think it's going to be over again, it just keeps going on, a la like Return of the King. Oh, and there's an after credits scene, so yeah, it just feels like it never ended. And here's the crazy part. The end credits started to roll, and then we got a mid-credits scene, and I'm just like, is the story, like, where's the final moment? It just kept fucking going. There are some very touching parts in the very last scene before the credits start rolling up, but I'm just like, come on already! But in the grand scheme, those cons are just small and pretty hearsay. The whole movie just came together, and some major pros that I just felt like I had to mention. Like, the thing that really stuck out to me about this, I mean, the vampire stuff is great, but the thing that really stuck out to me was the music. Holy shit, the music in this film is fucking amazing. There has to be at least 15, 25 different songs throughout this film, and they range from all sorts, from black blues to Irish folk, and all of them are just great and really make you shake and want to dance to it. And we get the amazing and hilarious visual of river dancing vampires. I know how fucking retarded that sounds, but this film has it, and it is just mesmerizing to watch and really sucks you in, pun intended. And there's this incredible scene where the Sammy Preacher Boy character plays the guitar, and we hear narration about music of the old and the new, like the spirits of the old and new coming together when the guitar plays. And we get this really fucking trippy sequence where we have 1930s blues being mixed with like old African tribal music and modern day rap, and also just rock. We even get a fucking geisha dancer up here. Like, it's a surreal, dreamy sequence, and this could have gone bad, but this was a very well done sequence, and you know what? I got into it. It fit the film. The gore, makeup effects are wonderfully bloody. Like, it's not Peter Jackson Dead Alive levels, but it's still very reasonably grisly. I really like this. This was a nice surprise, and if it's still playing where you are, I recommend checking it out. I definitely say it's a 4 on the 5-star scale. It's got thrills, music, booze, smokes, cunnilingus, and just enough heart to make you feel a little emotional. Ryan Coogler definitely made the best vampire film I've seen since the new Nosferatu in December last year, and check it out if you can. Hope you enjoyed these fresh thoughts, and I will see you again, hopefully soon.